Good evening, you're watching News Mongolian World. I'm your host, Ankur Batur. And for our top stories, Parliament launches its autumn session. The Mongolian horsehead Fiddle Ensemble needs a proper concert hall that meets international standards. Commitment expressed for intensification of public and private partnership. And for the news, stay tuned. The Parliament of Mongolia launched its autumn session on Monday. The Speaker of Parliament, Zandan opened the session and delivered a speech.
During his speech, the Speaker of the Parliament, Zandan highlighted the economic challenge we are facing due to the pandemic lockdown and the global situation. Notably, it was noted that the transportation difficulties are causing price increases that have not been seen over the last 40 years. Mongolia's economic growth in the first half of 2020 was 1.9%, which is relatively weak compared to the years prior to the pandemic. Inflation and price growth have remained in double digits for the last 10 consecutive months, and real income and wages of the people are decreasing due to those price increases. In addition, the balance of payments deficit has reached $1.5 billion in the first 8 months of the year, and foreign currency reserves have dwindled to $2.5 billion. If this situation continues in the future, there will be a serious slowing down of economic growth. Mongolia must pay a large amount of outstanding foreign debt in the coming years. For example, in 2023, a debt of $5.7 billion will need to be paid. The Speaker informed that the working group of Parliament worked in the regions and got acquainted with the implementation of the food revolution initiated by the President of Mongolia, harvesting processes, and preparation for the coming winter. As of today, 33% of crops and 70% of vegetables have already been harvested. Preparation for winter is about 30% complete. Many years of research has indicated that it is likely we will experience a difficult and severely cold winter in most areas. The working group led by the standing committees of Parliament organized discussions on further budget reforms.
Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs. Prime Minister Oyude held an official meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida. During the meeting, the party stressed the importance of building strong political relations between Mongolia and Japan, advancing cooperation in the economic, trade and investment fields to a new level, and intensifying public-private partnership. Mongolia is working to develop new environmentally friendly energy sources using advanced technologies and to get out of energy dependence at a time when countries around the world are pursuing a policy to reduce or eliminate carbon dioxide emissions, said Oyude, expressing Mongolia's desire to participate in a pilot project for the extraction and use of the hydrogen from brown coal, which is jointly being implemented by the governments of Japan and Australia. In addition, the parties discussed issues such as the development of tourism, regular flights of Japanese airlines to Mongolia, and visa facilitation for Mongolian citizens traveling to Japan. They also commented on the successful accomplishment of the 2017-2021 Mongolia-Japan Midterm Action Plan for strategic partnership and expressed that the new midterm action plan will be documents that will enrich bilateral relations and cooperation of the next 50 years with new content and will strengthen the partnership, which will be mutually beneficial in many fields, especially in terms of economy and business. The parties also reiterated that they would actively cooperate with the United Nations and other international cooperation organizations.
On October 2nd, the Embassy of India in Mongolia is celebrating the 153rd birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi with the Indian community in Mongolia and Mongolian friends. On the occasion of this anniversary of the leader of the Indian independence movement, freedom fighter, and founder of the nonviolent theory Mahatma Gandhi, the Embassy of the Republic of India in Mongolia held a red lane ceremony at the Mahatma Gandhi statue October the 2nd. The memorial statue for Mahatma Gandhi was built in Hangul district in 2007. The statue is regarded as an historical and cultural heritage item of Mongolia. The Red Lane ceremony was opened by the ambassador of India to Mongolia, Mr. Singh Sarnchimig, a member of the State Great Choral of Mongolia, and monks of Kandikchilung, Dashchoilung, and the Bitub Monastery, as well as representatives of the Embassy of the Republic of India in Mongolia and Indian expats attended the ceremony.
Now let's take a look at our next report on culture and art. The Mongolian horsehead Fiddle Ensemble's creative director Tufshin Sakhan says that music is an universal language that can reach anyone despite language and cultural barriers.
I think music can break down any barriers, and we should continue its development while preserving the most important thing we have, our culture and heritage.
The modern khor, also known as the horsehead fiddle, is a traditional Mongolian bowed stringed instrument. It is one of the most important musical instruments and is considered as a symbol of the nation of Mongolia. The modern khor is one of the masterpieces of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity as identified by UNESCO. The horsehead fiddle ensemble is playing an important role in preserving and passing on Mongolian culture to future generations, and most importantly preserving Mongolian identity. This year, the ensemble celebrates its 30th anniversary.
We should identify our future goals, like introducing young Mongolian music composers to local and foreign viewers. The anniversary allows us to assess our achievements, set new goals, and update our vision. I think the skills and talents of our musicians can be compared to those of big international orchestras, but we just need some support and better infrastructure, like a concert hall that meets international standards. I hope these challenges can be addressed in the future.
The horsehead fiddle ensemble has more than 30 musicians that play traditional Mongolian instruments, performing various types of music, including Mongolian folk and world classics.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here's the international news from our partner agencies. Israel's Prime Minister on Sunday welcomed a U.S. proposal for setting the maritime border with Lebanon, saying the American plan for resolving a long-running dispute between the neighboring countries would lift Israel's economy and boost regional security. For over a decade, Israel has been trying to reach this deal. The security of the north will be strengthened, and the Karsh field will operate and produce natural gas. Money will flow into the state's treasury, and our energy independence will be secured. This deal strengthens Israel's security and Israel's economy. We do not oppose the development of an additional Lebanese gas field, from which we will of course receive the share we deserve. Such a field will weaken Lebanon's dependence on Iran, restrain Hezbollah, and promote regional stability.
Prime Minister Yair Lapid said the proposal was delivered over the weekend to both Israel and Lebanon. While he said it was still being studied, he said the plan would strengthen Israel's northern areas near the Lebanese border, allow Israel to produce additional natural gas, and deliver new revenues to the national coffers. He also said Israel would not oppose the development of an additional Lebanese gas field straddling the maritime border as long as Israel receives the share we deserve. He said the deal was being reviewed by legal and defense officials before it is to be voted upon the government. On Saturday, the proposal was also delivered to Lebanese leaders. Lebanon and Israel have been officially at war since Israel's creation in 1948, and both countries claim some 860 square kilometers of the Mediterranean Sea. Israel set up a gas rig at its designated location at the Karish field. Israel says the field is part of its UN-recognized exclusive economic zone, while Lebanon insists Karish is in a disputed area. Lebanon hopes to unleash offshore oil and gas production as it grapples with the worst economic crisis in its modern history, plunging 3/4 of its population into poverty. In July, the Israeli military shot down 3 unarmed drones belonging to Lebanon's Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah flying over the Karish field. Hezbollah's leader has issued warnings to Israel over the maritime dispute, saying that any arm that reaches out to steal Lebanon's wealth will be cut off. The heavily armed group, which has fought several wars with Israel, has repeatedly said in the past that it would use its weapons to protect Lebanon's economic rights. Hezbollah officials have, however, said they would endorse a deal reached between Lebanon's government and Israel.
South Korean activists clashed with police as they launched balloons carrying anti-North propaganda materials across the North Korean border, ignoring their government's plea to stop such activities. The North has threatened to respond with deadly retaliation.
Park Sang-hak, a North Korean defector turned activist, said he and his group had launched about 8 balloons from an area in the South Korean border town of Pajo Saturday night, when police officers arrived at the scene and prevented them from sending their 12 remaining balloons. Park said police confiscated some of their materials and detained him and 3 other members of his group over mild scuffles with officers before releasing them after questioning. Officials at the Pajo Police and the Northern Gyeonggi Provincial Police Agency didn't immediately respond to requests for comment on Sunday. The balloons flown toward North Korea carried masks, Tylenol and vitamin C tablets, along with propaganda materials, including booklets praising South Korea's richer economy and democratic society, and hundreds of USB sticks containing videos of U.S. Congress members denouncing the North's human rights record. Saturday's launch came weeks after South Korea's government pleaded for activists to stop their balloon launches, citing concerns related to the safety of border area residents. Lee Hyo-jun, spokesperson of Seoul's Unification Ministry, then said that the South would also sternly respond to any North Korean retaliation over the balloons. North Korea is extremely sensitive to outside criticism about Kim's family, authoritarian rule of its people, most of whom have little access to foreign news. It has berated South Korea's current conservative government for letting South Korean civilian activists fly anti-Pyongyang propaganda leaflets and other dirty waste across the border by balloon, even dubiously claiming the items caused its COVID-19 outbreak. Park's group has continued to launch balloons after Kim Yo-jong, the powerful sister of North Korean leader, warned of deadly retaliation in August, triggering concern North Korea may react with a weapons test or even border skirmishes. For years, Park has floated helium-filled balloons with leaflets and other propaganda material, harshly criticizing the Kim family, and also began sending masks, medicine, and health products following the emergence of COVID-19. Last year, South Korea, under its previous liberal government that sought to improve inter-Korean ties, enforced the contentious new law criminalizing civilian leafleting campaigns. Park still kept launching balloons, becoming the first person to be indicted over that law, but his trial has been on hold since he filed a petition requesting the Constitutional Court to rule whether the new law is unconstitutional, according to his lawyer Lee Hoon.
Now let's take a look at our regular feature on sports. Red Bull Sergio Perez won the Singapore Grand Prix amid treacherous conditions, but he remains under investigation for a potential safety car violation, with race stewards due to rule on any penalty. Torrential rain delayed the start of the race by an hour, and on the slippery track the safety car was deployed twice, firstly following a collision between Nicolas Latifi and Zhou Guanyu, and secondly after Yuki Tsunoda hit the barriers. Perez emerged from the chaos unscathed and eventually passed the checkered flag 7 seconds ahead of runner-up Charles Leclerc to move within just 2 points of the Ferrari driver's second place in the Drivers' Championship. Ferrari's Carlos Sainz completed the podium while Perez's teammate and runaway leader atop the overall standings, Max Verstappen, was forced to wait for his second title after finishing 7th, one of the worst results of his season.
My best performance, I controlled the race, although the warm-up was pretty difficult. The last few laps was so intense. I didn't feel it that much in the car, but when I got out of it, I felt it. I pushed, I gave everything for the win today.
It was a victory Perez needed. He started the season strongly and had secured a new 2-year contract for 2023 and 2024 even before he won in Monaco. But in recent races, as upgrades to the Red Bull have made it more to Verstappen's liking, he has struggled and been further off his teammates than his predecessors Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, both of whom were dropped off for lack of pace. Norwegian phenom Erling Haaland made history on Sunday when he became the first player to score a hat-trick in 3 consecutive English Premier League home matches as his side dismantled its crosstown rival Manchester United 6-3 to remain second in the league. Erling Haaland, who moved to City from Borussia Dortmund in the summer, has scored 17 goals in 10 games, making him Europe's most lethal marksman, and he was brilliant against United, not only scoring 3 but also creating 2 goals. City opened the scoring in the 8th minute through Foden, who connected with a Bernardo Silva cross. Haaland soon got on the score sheet, first heading home from a corner before slotting in Kevin De Bruyne's perfect pass.
I said many times, I tried to do it again. What they have done today or this season, Erling is doing, have done in Norway, have done in Austria, have done in Germany. That is the reality. So he came and realized, oh, these guys, then my mates run as an animal, I have to do it too. And of course the quality that we have alongside to him, so help him to score goals. But what he has done, I didn't teach him once. When the ball is right and disappear for the action and have to attack the box, when how always move behind the central defender away of the action. So having incredible instinct in sense when the ball is coming to arrive there. And this come from, I said many times, his mom and dad. So he was born with that. And just to help him to produce more balls, I give him almost there. That's all.
The Norwegian then turned provider, giving Foden an easy chance to make it 4-0 before the break. Anthony Martial scored for United, making it 4-1, then 6-2 and 6-3 on what was a miserable day for Erik ten Hag's side after a recent upturn in his side's recent form. City remain a point behind Arsenal, but with Haaland in such form, Pep Guardiola's team remained favourite to retain its league title, which would be its 5th in 6 years. Here's the weather forecast of all major cities. Well, that's all for today, and thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.